afternoon, everyone. Today is day 136 with my RS. I'm on 5,908 miles now. Loved every one of them so far. Today's video is about the start-stop technology on the RS. Before I get into that though, I've got a couple of issues that I'll just mention that have surfaced recently, both a bit odd. One is the sunroof, the global closing on the sunroof. A couple of times now I've gone to close it as I've parked up and been walking away from the car, and the sunroof hasn't closed all the way across. It's kind of got stuck halfway, and I've had to get in the car and use the manual controls to actually get it closed. And when trying to do that, it's not gone with one touch, one press, and it goes all the way across. But as soon as it has closed, the one touch is then fully restored again. So I don't think it's like the electric windows where there needs to be a reset procedure performed, but it's a bit odd. And if anyone else has had a similar problem, please do let me know in the comments below. The other thing, and I only noticed this the other day, is that a couple of times now, when I've shut the car down after a drive, it happened last night when I got home from work, I shut the car down, disconnect my phone, and then open the door to get out. And as I open the door to get out, the indicator lights, both of them flash, which I'm not entirely sure why it does that. It's done it a few times. And has anyone else had that? I've no idea what it's doing or why it's doing it. I certainly don't seem to have a problem with the car. It runs perfectly well. I'm not, losing any coolant. Everything is fine. But when I exit the car, both the indicator lights in the dashboard flash just once. So again, as with the sunroof, if anyone's had that problem, then please do let me know in the comments below. So start-stop technology. Is it any good? Does it save you fuel? Speaking of which, it's about time I brimmed my tank again. So bear with me, I'll just get this done. So that's something every Focus RS owner is more than used to. It's a very regular thing. This though is not the regular thing, and that's recording the MPG, or the fuel used, and the cost, which I do on every single one. $5,910, 42.82 litres. £52.20, and trip computer MPG of 25.9. How accurate was that this time? 24.9. So overestimating 1 MPG, which is what I've found so far over the life of the car. Always overestimates a bit. So on to the point of this video, which is that button down there, the button to disable the stop-start technology. Why would you want to press that? I've seen it mentioned quite a bit in videos about the Focus RS, mostly in the videos where people are talking about the 5 things they hate the most about the RS. The stop-start technology. It's stupid, it's ridiculous, it shouldn't do it. What's the point? Personally, I don't get the hate for it. I don't see why people dislike it. On some of the forums that I'm on, it's often talked about that the standard starting routine is start the engine and hit that button, turn the stop-start off. I never do that. I don't understand why you would, just as a matter of course. I have it in both this car and in my Ford Focus C-Max, which is diesel, and as far as I'm concerned, it works flawlessly in both of them. It shuts down when you put the car in neutral and you're stationary. Is it going to do it now? No, it's not. It's decided right now's not the time. But it will do if conditions are right, if the engine, the battery charge and so on and all the sensors give the indication that it's a good thing for it to do. But it shuts the car down. Anytime you're in neutral, your foot is off the clutch and the car is stationary. You put your foot on the clutch, it starts instantly, and I mean instantly. And then you're good to go. You can just drive away immediately. So I don't get the hate. I know people say, well, what's the point? You don't buy a Focus RS to save fuel. If burning fuel is something you're worried about, why would you buy a Focus RS? Well, I think it's a good thing because burning fuel while the car is stationary is absolutely pointless. Completely pointless. You're burning fuel for no reason whatsoever. Why would you want to do that? Why not let the car shut itself off? Now, I don't put it into neutral all the time, every time I stop. But any time a pause becomes a wait, yeah, I take my foot off the clutch with the car in neutral and the engine stops. Makes perfect sense to me. I don't use it in slow moving traffic. If the traffic is just crawling along and you're having to move, every 10-20 seconds or so, then I have turned it off. I do turn it off in a situation like that. But otherwise, why would you disable it? I'm sat here right now, level crossing ahead, stationary, completely stationary. Everything's up to temperature, I've got good oil temperature, water, car's warm through. Why would I want to sit here with the engine running? It is completely pointless. It's decided there that it needed to start up again. Maybe the battery, it felt powering the air conditioning needed a bit of a boost and it was about time to give it a go. So it's fired up again. It's quite nice because the aircon's kicked in again and it's starting to cool me down. That's maybe a reason why you'd turn it off. If it's a really hot day and you need your aircon running all the time, in which case where you're trading, burning fuel, you're getting something for it. You're getting cool air. But unless you need that, unless it's vital, you are burning fuel for no reason whatsoever. Does it save you fuel? Of course it does. You're not burning it while you're stationary. Not a huge amount, admittedly. I worked out earlier on that if fuel is about 123 a litre, I think it was, that I used, and you idled for 5 minutes a day, and you used the stop-start to shut the engine down instead of that 5 minutes of burning fuel, you'd save about 10 pence per day. So over the course of a year, that's about £34. Over the course of the 10 years that I plan to own this car, it's about £340. That's a free track day. I'll take that. Thank you. Will it wear out the starter motor and all the other hardware associated with getting the engine going? Doubtful, really doubtful. These things will have been designed to cope with more starting cycles. Besides which, when was the last time you heard of a starter motor or something like that failing as a result of overuse? In all the time that I've been on the Ford forums with my Fiesta, which I did 60,000 miles in. Admittedly, it didn't have start-stop, but a lot of the STs did. I've never once heard of a failure. It could be because everyone's turning it off, but I seriously doubt that it's beyond the engineers at Ford to make the starter system robust enough to deal with the increased cycles that the start-stop technology will give the car. So is it going to wear the starter mechanism and so on out? No, it's really not. I don't think it will. What about damage to the engine from starting all the time? I've heard people say that that's really a bad thing for the engine. But it's not like a cold start. Everything's warmed through. The oil hasn't had hours and hours to drain away from the top of the engine. So everything's still lubricated, everything's within tolerance, and it takes the slightest effort from the car just to nudge it back into life. So are you going to wear out things like your main bearings on the crankshaft and so on? Again, I seriously doubt it. Would Ford, would any engine manufacturer have designed something like that if it was going to give them problems? Which it could well do if it accelerated the wear and failure of things that could quite easily go during the warranty period that they offer on a new car. I've got 5 years on this, so certainly I'm going to have no issues for 5 years. Do I think I'm going to have any in the 10 years I plan to own this? Not at all. So there you have it. That's my take on the stop-start system in the Ford Focus RS. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up. Share it, hit the subscribe button, turn notifications on, and I will see you all in my next video.